Catherine? Madam SAA, you're muted.
Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
My apologies. Well, start with the online club meeting statement. By attending this remote club meeting, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages may be shared with our other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. The renaming convention, as we had initially discussed, Toastmasters with roles start with hashtag role underscore your name, e.g. timer underscore Tina Turner. Toastmasters without roles start with your name and then underscore the name of your club, TM, e.g. Alibaba underscore traders Toastmasters. Non-Toastmasters start with the name guest underscore your name. For instance, guest underscore Simon Makonde. The chat master, will post the complete renaming convention in the chat. Please send them a private message if you need help renaming yourself. Keep your video on throughout the online experience if possible. Mute your microphone unless it is your turn to speak. Use the Zoom chat and reaction buttons to engage. Share feedback and vote when the polls are launched. And lastly but not least, enjoy, visit again, and consider becoming a member. Back to you, presiding officer.
Thank you very much. I would now like to invite a visiting Toastmaster to share with us how they learned about our meeting. Where did they get to hear that we were meeting today? I had heard a familiar voice. Paddy, can you hear me? IPP Simba?
Yes, I can hear you.
Over to you.
I have heard of this great club from several people, DTM Magio Idiru, DTM Kevin Rubia, DTM Robert Karanja. It's a name that keeps popping up amongst Toastmasters circles. Therefore, I decided to come and see what this great name has to offer today.
Thank you
That's how
very much. Thank you. Thank you for visiting us. I would now like to invite someone from the other side of Kenya. Nyali Toastmasters, I have seen a representative. Antoinette, if you can hear me, kindly unmute.
Good evening, Toastmasters and honored guests.
Good evening.
I actually joined because I saw the link in one of the platforms on WhatsApp group. However, I've heard about Watabaruku Toastmasters, Advanced Toastmasters Club from Sarah, Toastmaster Sarah Wanjiku. She once invited me to join one of your meetings if I had the time. Back to you, Toastmaster Fatma.
Thank you very much for coming and agreeing to the invitation from Sarah. I would now like to go straight to club business. Minutes of meeting 140 of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club was circulated by the club secretary, Minor DTM. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes as circulated? Any objection to adopting the minutes as circulated? None. I declare the minutes of meeting 140 adopted without objection. Are there any amendments? Any amendments? None. The minutes are adopted as is. May we now transition to the business of the day? We have an interesting theme about seasons. And it's now my pleasure to invite our Toastmaster of the day, Leila Abdi. She has been on and off from Chiromo Toastmasters for the past 7 years. Currently, she is Area 12 Director, supporting Sema Toastmasters Club, Runda Elite Toastmasters, Kasarani, as well as Momentum Toastmasters Clubs. She describes herself as being in a liminal season of her life, a season of transition and possibility. With her theme, Seasons, please help me welcome Toastmaster Leila Abdi. Leila Abdi, over to you. Let's clap, let's give reactions as we welcome our area director. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you, Toastmaster Fatma, for that generous introduction. And I begin with, there used to be this show when I was younger called Days of Our Lives. Like sand through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. If you know, you know. And the thing about that statement is it's not only true for days, but it is also true for seasons. As you've heard in the introduction, I have been in and out of the Toastmaster experience for the past 9 years, but this year I am in my own liminal space, meaning I am not where I would like to be, but I am not where I was before. And so I am in that in-between season of my life. And just as normal seasons, if it's raining, doesn't matter how angry you are, how frustrated you are, how anxious you are, how sad you are, it's raining. The water is coming from the sky. And our emotions will not change that reality. And it's the same way for our seasons in life. Today, we need to once again react to, I think it's Catherine Bosibori who's celebrating her anniversary soon, her 6-year anniversary, yes. And that is a season of her life. But there was a time Catherine was with us on these streets as a single lady, yes. And such is life, right? We are going through all these seasons. And today I wanted us to share from each other and learn and appreciate that our seasons are different and what can we gather from everyone in their different seasons. For today, for me, in my current season, Just the same way I have no control over the weather. If it's winter, it is winter. If it's summer, it's summer. If it's spring, if it's autumn, if the trees are falling if the leaves are falling from the trees, I have to just let it be. So too, in my current season of life, I am learning the very valuable lesson of letting go of control and being comfortable with uncertainty. Today, as we continue to gain the wisdom from the seasons, I have my functionaries with me who will help us with that. I would like to call to the virtual stage our super grammarian Wangu. Super grammarian Wangu told me that she is in a season of not making excuses and learning to ask for help. And I think that's very valuable for all of us who are in attendance. Perhaps we need to learn to ask for help. Wangu Kamundia is acting as our counter, our language coordinator, and our grammarian. Wangu, the stage is set for you to take us through your role.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And I will begin to ask for help from our SAA. I'd like to request host rights so that I'll be able to share my screen. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure and privilege of acting as your syntax sentinel. And my role is three-pronged. I will have an opportunity to introduce the word of the day. Today, we will not have a word of the day. We will have an anti-word of the day or anti-word of the day. That means we will have a word that we must try not to use at any point in our oratory. That word is be. And I'll just try to share my screen as we go along. I think I'm able to do that. Thank you very much, Catherine. All right. That started it from the beginning. So my role is three-pronged. One will be to introduce the anti-word of the day, be, which I have just used. We are going to try as much as possible not to use it. And so today you will not be snapping your thumbs or sending emojis if the word be is used. I can see I am a culprit, like many of us, I imagine, will be. It's a very tough word not to use, but work on using other words to create the meaning that you would like to. I will take note of excellent use of grammar. I will also look for improper use of grammar and suggest ways in which we can improve those sentences or phrases. I will look for pause fillers or crutches such as unnecessary words like basically, etc., etc. So here we go, the anti-word of the day. Its meaning is a state of existence. And our challenge is to tackle the challenge of not using the word be. An example, I will be your super grammarian tonight. I can say instead, as your super grammarian, I will do A, B, and C. Or if you pay attention to these areas in the areas highlighted in my evaluation, your speeches will be even better. You can say, by paying attention to these areas that I have highlighted, you will transform or elevate your speech. Whenever someone uses the anti-word of the day, do not snap your fingers, but think of ways in which you could have said that sentence differently. I will present a brief report at the end. I will also present reports after the content and delivery evaluators of the speeches. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very, very much, our super grammarian Wangu, for that challenge. If Shakespeare was with us, he would say to exist or not to exist. Fantastic. We move on to our next role taker, who's Toastmaster Shamim Ali. When I asked Shamim what this season of her life was teaching her, she said that just like the seasons, time keeps moving and no season lasts forever. What's important is how to use this season to make sure that we use this season well. Toastmaster Shamim, kindly take up the virtual podium.
Thank you, Madam TMOD, for the introduction. Today, as a timer, I'm going to time the table topic speeches, the individual evaluations, and the formal speeches. I will also alert each speaker using the red, yellow, and the green card. These cards, each color denotes the specific time that is remaining. For the table topics, it should be done within 2 minutes. And at 1 minute, I'm trying to, okay. At one minute, I will change my virtual background to green. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will change my background to yellow. And at 2 minutes, I'm going to change my background to red. As for the evaluations, for the language, it should run between 3 to 4 minutes. At 3 minutes, it should run for 2 to 3 minutes. At 3 minutes, at 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. And at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm going to raise the yellow card. And finally, at 3 minutes, I'm going to raise the red card. For the formal speeches, the first speaker's speech is supposed to run for 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'm going to raise the yellow card. And finally, at 7 minutes, I'm going to raise the red card. For the second speaker, the speech should run for 3 to 4 minutes. At 3 minutes, I'm going to raise the green card. At 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm going to raise the yellow card. And finally, at 4 minutes, I'm going to raise the red card. Please take note of the time. And I'll be posting the report for each category or each segment in the chat box. Back to you, Madam TMOD.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer, for guiding us in how we shall using that very scarce resource this evening. On to our next role taker, who's our general evaluator, Njeri Mwathi. When I asked Njeri what her current season was teaching her, the main lesson for her is to seek, preserve, and share peace. Unless she's at peace internally, the odds are very high that chaos might be, well, that's better. Chaos might be what she will be sharing with others. As you can see, the word be is making a recurrent appearance. Madam GE, save me from this. Take the virtual podium.
Thank you very much, TMOD. Leila, that's also my area director. I am excited to be here and to be your general evaluator this evening. As general evaluator, I provide an insightful and balanced overview of the meeting, celebrating the excellence, and also identifying opportunities for refinement. This way, I will be reinforcing Watabaruku's legacy of advanced communication and leadership. When called upon, I will deliver my report. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much, GE Njeri. We move on to our prepared speeches. Our first speaker is none other than DTM Robert Karanja. I'm sure most of us have had a running in with him, and a pleasant one at that. To introduce Robert Karanja is his evaluator, a distinguished gentleman, Antony Oduor. When I asked Antony what the current situation in the current season of his life is teaching him, he said to balance different areas of life, prioritize what really matters, and it's very important, have the courage to let go what no longer deserves his attention. Welcome to the stage, Toastmaster Antony Oduor.
Thank you very much, DTM Leila Abdi. Today, I will have the privilege of evaluating Robert Karanja. Robert Karanja is on the path of persuasive influence, which is level 5, project 2. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspects of their experience serving as a leader in a volunteer organization. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. The speech title, It's That Simple. It's That Simple, Robert Karanja. Robert Karanja, It's That Simple.
Imagine you're in a moderately successful relationship. It has been going on for a couple of weeks now, and things seem to be going okay. For starters, the guy always sends you a good morning message and a good night message. He never fails, even one single day. The next thing is that he always makes time for you. He always plans these cute dates, and he never seems to be too busy to give time to you. He also knows how to handle conflict when you have it in your relationship. So when you start off an argument, he is sensitive, he listens to you, he has responses that show you that he's paying attention, and you tend to resolve all your conflict. This happened to a lady, and the problem was that even though everything seemed perfect, it turns out that her boyfriend was using an AI agent to manage his relationship. It was like he was using Love GPT or Cupid GPT to do all those things that she thought were cute. In fact, when she got to thinking about it, his the photo that he used in his dating profile seemed to be like a more polished version of what he really looks like in real life. When I heard this story, I was first of all shocked and I was tempted. I was shocked first of all because I had never thought of using an AI agent to manage my own relationship, my own marriage. Actually, it would probably do better in terms of conflict than I actually usually do. The thing that tempted me was that what if I used an AI agent to run the Toastmasters Club as a Toastmasters president when I was elected as Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters president last year? And it was tempting because I was coming from a period where I had been program quality director, first of all, then I was district director. And by the time I was taking over the club, I was feeling burnt out. But beyond that, the other things that not just club officers or past district directors, but any member of Toastmasters usually experiences when they commit to their Toastmasters journey. And that is the things that happen in your life and that might take away your attention from the commitment you've made. For example, you might get accepted to a fellowship or receive a scholarship to advance your education. Definitely, you're not going to forego that opportunity. In addition to that, you might get a promotion or you might be transferred to a different part of the country or to a different country in a move that is going to advance your career as well. And so you definitely will never say no to that opportunity. Or you might use Cupid GPT a little bit too well, and you and your spouse end up expecting a baby which you had not planned for. And so a question that all Toastmasters members and leaders usually have to face is, how are you going to prioritize something that is naturally not going to be your highest priority? And the answer is simple. Not really simple, but simple. Let me use an example from communication. When you say that a message is simple, it means that you have gotten to the core of it. You've gotten to the most important part of that message, and you've highlighted it so that nobody can miss it. When a message, the core has been brought out, that is a simple message. Let me use an example of how people used to communicate during the Civil War in America. They used to use Telegram. And the thing about telegrams was that as the Morse code was being sent out, there was a possibility that the line might be cut or the message might be interrupted. And so it was important that the most important parts of that message are sent out first. And even though a message might be delivered partially, the core will not be missed. And so, for example, if you are you're expecting an attack, the first sentence will be send reinforcements immediately. The enemy is advancing to our position. Even if the message was cut off at that point in time, the high command would know that you need help. Every part of the message is important, is beneficial to the high command to make the decision, but not everything is crucial. And so you cannot prioritize everything. You need to pick out the most crucial thing. And that is exactly what we would need to do as Toastmasters when we are leading. We need to separate the crucial from the beneficial, from the nice to have. And when we do that, we need to do the crucial tasks as well as possible. At the beginning of the term, of course, I didn't have this epiphany. We created a club success plan. I had a very long to-do list. And as time went by, life started to happen. Other commitments started to pull my attention. If I was to react like we tend to react, I would consider everything important and I either do everything or I do nothing. Or like we tend to do, I would have just ghosted the club. However, I realized that I needed to simplify my role. And to simplify it, I asked the question, if I could do nothing else this year, what was one thing that I needed to do? First of all, we needed to have ExCo meetings, definitely. We needed to have a succession plan. And we must invite guests and members and then thank them when they come. And finally, we must provide a fun experience for the members and the guests when they come to our meeting. Those were the simple things that we needed, and I needed to do very well. In Toastmasters, we say this is where leaders are made. And we are made leaders through applying ourselves to the roles that we receive. And so you cannot grow as a leader when you abandon your role or when you give it off to an AI. And what I learned from leading the club is that not everything needs to be done. Leadership is mostly the art of doing simple things very well. And simple things, but by simple things, I mean picking out the crucial items and then focusing on them with all your effort. And you find that when you do that, running a Toastmasters club is simple. Well, not simple, but simple. You know what I mean. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Can we give him a round of applause and 1 minute where we all give our feedback? Feedback is a breakfast of champions, dear Toastmasters. I think we are all able to observe the poll. All right, fantastic. The challenges that ChatGPT has wrought. Initially, when you started the speech, I was like, can you give us the contact of this gentleman? We would like to know his friends, only to realize he does not exist. Thank you for that. Toastmaster Robert Karanja, DTM. I would like to invite our content evaluator, Paul Muwanga, to introduce our second speaker, Laiser. Toastmaster Paul. Toastmaster
Thank you
Paul.
very much, TMOD.
Thank you so
It is
much.
my pleasure to introduce Toastmaster Laiser, who is pursuing the path innovation planning and is at level 3, project 2, social speeches. The purpose of this project is to practice delivering social speeches in front of club members. This is a 3 to 4 minute speech that will be delivered by Toastmaster Laiser. Toastmaster Laiser, the exemplary legends. The exemplary legends, Toastmaster Laiser.
Normally, when we hear legends, we imagine people like Michael Jackson, Martin Luther King, Jomo Kenyatta, Mwalimu Julius, Maradona, and the likes. But fellow Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters and guests, what if I told you that every single one of you in this room this evening are all legends? I would like to ask all the members in the room to unmute and exchange a generous compliment by saying, "You are a legend." Could we all unmute and share, "You are a legend"?
You
You
are a
are
legend.
a legend.
Legend.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That is a powerful affirmation. Now, I would like us to reflect and recognize a very transformative leader, one who saw a flock of exemplary leaders and realized that if these leaders won't be able to reach their full potential if they have 3 particular skills. The first one, public speaking, second one being communication, and the third one being leadership. If you might have an idea on who this leader might be, feel free to type in the chat. But this transformative leader developed a community back in 1924, which today has managed to develop over 8 million leaders around the globe. It has managed to impact over 8 million individuals around the globe. And according to the law of averages, for every single closed deal, you need to pitch to over 10 prospects. Now stay with me for a moment. If one closed deal takes 10 prospects, that means for this particular transformative community to work, the pioneer had to pitch to over 80 million people. Quite ridiculous numbers. But what if I told you this evening that every single one of us has the power, has the capacity to develop such kind of initiative? This initiative was possible because the pioneer of this community also realized that there's a problem in the community he's in. This is the solution. And for this solution to yield results, he needed to take action as well as having a strong tribe. Because through these few elements, he converted a community of 10 to impacting 100, from a community of impacting 100 to impacting thousands, then 10,000 and 100,000, and continued moving in such a space. Now, did you know that every single one of us, if we utilize our network well, we could also develop such an initiative? Because through a principle known as the 6 degrees of separation, every single one of us knows 6 people. or at least of the 20 people that you know, the 10 that you're close with knows 6 people. Now you're developing an initiative targeting 1,000. If you use the people that you know, the 6 people that they know, and the 6 people that their people know, you find yourself conquering a continent or even the globe. What does this challenge us? It challenges us to start small. It challenges us to start alone, and it challenges to start today. Because whatever you do, as long as you take action, you have a tribe. It's like planting a seed on the ground. It doesn't take, it's not an overnight work. It takes patience, progressive process for it to yield results. Therefore, I would encourage fellow Toastmasters and guests to start today. Back to you, Madam Tiamodi.
Thank you very much, Layson Laiser. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Let us share our feedback with him. And as we do that, I would like to share with us what his evaluator, Paul Muwanga, told us about how he's managing the current season of his life. The lesson he's learning from it is how to manage pressure. And he says, so far, so good. So far, so good. All right, legends, we are moving on, in the interest of time, to the next session of our meeting, which is our impromptu speaking session, the table topic session. And to move us through this very interesting, insightful, and intriguing aspect of our meeting is none other than Toastmaster Hailu. When I asked her what lessons the current season of her life was teaching her, she said she is in transition and the main lessons are self-trust and courage. We could all use that, especially in the coming session, have the courage and the trust when called upon to speak. Over to you, Toastmaster Hailu.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a great privilege for me to be leading the table topics session today. For those of you who may be new to Toastmasters, the purpose of the table topic session is to help us practice our impromptu speaking skills, which is for us to be able to speak unprepared. Out there in the world, it's a very important communication skill that will help all of us, and that involves thinking quickly on your feet, articulating your thoughts, and being able to communicate clearly. As opposed to the prepared speeches you just heard, this is also a session that would allow any one of us to take part, especially those of us who don't have a particular role this evening. And I'll be guiding the session this way. I will pick speakers at random and then introduce a table topics prompt. And you're encouraged to reflect on the prompt for 1 to 2 minutes. You're encouraged to speak at a bare minimum for 1 minute, but ideally 2 minutes, but not beyond. So when you see the timer's card turn red, please try and wrap up within the 30 seconds after that. And our super grammarian has given us a very interesting challenge today. I'm so glad I'm not speaking today. So instead of a word of the day, which we would be typically encouraged to use, today we're given the challenge of not using the word be or the preposition, if I'm not mistaken. So please take on that challenge. So what I'll do is to call on an experienced Toastmaster to show us how it's done. And for that, I'll call upon DTM Maggie Waitirio. Are you with us?
Alive and well.
Fantastic. Welcome. So the first table topic prompt is considering the current season of life you're in, and if it had a soundtrack, which song would you say best describes it?
I love this one. The season I'm in right now is all about living a life of significance and making an impact with the people I interact with. To live a life that leaves an impact. I can only think of this song. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. Obviously, I will never get over the rainbow, go over the rainbow. However, I can live my life purposefully. I can make an impact by how I interact with people, the words I say, how I leave people feeling after I've interacted with them. And what I do with my life should not be all about me. Of course, it would be really good if I make some money along the way. However, looking back, I want to see that I made an impact with the people that I interacted with. The day I spoke to Paddy, the day I spoke to Tigist, how did I leave her feeling? That for me is going to be my season of life. For me, the song is To Fly Over the Rainbow So High, because indeed, the sky is the limit and even beyond. Back to you, table topics mistress.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it's done. That's the definition of thinking on your feet, organizing your thoughts, and communicating clearly. Thank you so much, DTM Maggie. I tried to reflect on the same prompt myself. And as the TMOE said when she introduced me, I'm in a period of transition. So I'm in the mood of launching out boldly, and the song that came to mind is a classic by Diana Ross, I'm Coming Out. I would have tried to play it if I had a voice like Maggie's, but I will spare you the trauma. Those of you who don't know it, look it up. I'll drop the link in the chat. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next prompt. And for this, I'll call on a visiting Toastmaster I had seen earlier, DTM, I believe, Rashmi Odesh from DAR Toastmasters. Are you with us?
Yes, good evening. I'm with you, and I'm not DTM, so I'm aspiring DTM. Thank you.
Fantastic. Just take it by faith. It will come. So I'm glad you're with us. Let me introduce the next prompt with you. What has your current season of life has given you that you did not expect?
Thank you for the question. Yes, the current season of life is always beautiful. It brings in many changes and the life evolves. I am looking forward to that change, and that change is so beautiful. In Toastmaster itself, I am the PQD, assistant PQD for our division B. And that change is so beautiful. I get to interact with all the Toastmasters across the division. Isn't it beautiful? This change is lovely and I love it. I'm sure if any of you in future take a role of PQD assistant, you will realize how beautiful is this role. As a PQD, you are there to inspire other Toastmasters. And as a PQD, I will always inspire and be in this position where I can inspire. And I tell you all to take this challenge and inspire others. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster, Table Topic Master. Thank you. We can't hear you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, I had muted myself. So I was reflecting on the theme myself. Like I said, I'm in a period of transition in many ways. And one thing this season has given me is self-trust in times of uncertainty. I have found that it's extremely useful. I would have expected I'd be doubting myself as I navigate very uncertain times, important decisions, but self-trust has been a great gift for me. Moving on to the next one, I'd like to ask if we have volunteers. I'd love to give the next 1 or 2 slots to guests. Anybody who's courageous, who wants to step up? Oh. I'll be forced to ambush guests. Oh, okay. Paddy, welcome. Paddy, I see, is a visiting Toastmaster from Simba. You're ready to speak? I saw a raised hand.
Yep, ready.
Okay, fantastic. So the next prompt is looking back, which season of your life would you say shaped you the most and how?
Looking back, the season that comes to mind that had the most significant impact in my life was my presidency at Simba Toastmasters. During my presidency at Simba Toastmasters, I believe that I got free training on how to be a leader without the pressure and expectations that come with the same responsibility at the place of work. At Simba Toastmasters, I learned how to listen, I learned how to delegate, I learned how to follow up with grace. I learned how to handle disappointment, and I learned how to inspire. I think that these are skills that had I to learn at work with KPIs hanging in the balance, my manager watching closely like a hawk, and the rest of the team waiting to see where I ended. It would have been an uphill task to take care of those responsibilities and expectations with ease and grace as I did at Simba Toastmasters. I thus look back and appreciate the free managerial training that came with being club president. It was a year of exposure, a year of multiple learning experiences, and a year of fun. I thus encourage anybody who'd like to have free managerial training to take up a Toastmasters leadership role. It for sure gives you the grace to learn without the pitfall of failing. Back to you, Madam Table Talks.
Thank you so much. Paddy, are you sure, Toastmaster Paddy, are you sure you didn't have my question beforehand?
That's what happens when you're a
Too
table topics
smooth.
champion.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking back at my own seasons of life, one of the very interesting stories I have is I as a political science graduate, I couldn't find a job in my own field. So my first job was a kindergarten teacher. Talk about a curveball, right? So, but it's a story for another day for you. I remember at the first day of work, I cried a bucket of tears. I didn't know what I have done to deserve this. Although teaching children is a very noble a profession. I've done it for 2 years. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but it was something extremely unexpected as a career path initially. So I learned a lot from that life is not a straight line. So that season of life, I think, shaped me the most. Madam Timer, do we have time for one more? I'd like to invite a guest now, if we're able to do one more, but I'd seek your guidance, Madam Timer.
Yes, one more speaker, please.
Okay, thank you. So let's see. I see Lilian Simeu. You haven't renamed yourself, so I cannot tell whether you're a Toastmaster or a guest. Are you with us? Lilian?
Yes, I am. I'm a member at Nairobi Butlers Toastmasters.
Okay. Are you able to speak?
I can try.
Fantastic. So the prompt is, which season of your life would you say deserves a sequel or a part 2 because it was so good? And what would you like to see happen?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Sorry. The season of my life that I would like to have it rehappen was back when I had just graduated and I had all the free time in the world to travel around. I had no stress, no responsibilities, no nothing. So I decided to move to Mombasa and breeze by the beach and think about what I wanted to do. And that time of my life, I had a meeting with myself, planned out what I wanted to have happen. I set out smart goals for myself. I started applying for jobs that I thought I wanted to do. And I can say I had a breeze because that time, unlike now when I'm having responsibilities and stress here and there, that time was really great for me to at least plan out myself and have some peace of mind. So if there's a time in my life that I would like to have a sequel, was that time when I had graduated and had all the time in my life. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lilian, for the great reflection. For me, I would want my current season to have multiple sequels because it's quite thrilling, it's scary, it's satisfying, it's disappointing, but most importantly, it's intentional. If I would describe my current season in one word, it would be intentional. And for that reason, it's worth having multiple sequels of this, and I really don't mind what happens. I'm ready for it. Thank you. With that, I will hand it back to Madam Toastmaster of the evening, but for the sake of our SAA, we had DTM Magi Waithiru, we had Toastmaster Radesh from Dart Toastmasters, we had Toastmaster Paddy from Simba, we had Toastmaster Lilian as well, a visiting Toastmaster. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you also very much. Round of applause for our CMOD, Hailu, as we vote for the best table topic speaker. I love the note that you ended it on, which is whatever season we are in, we need to be intentional. That's something I am taking home with me, Toastmaster Hailu. Thank you very much for that. Now, to the session of our meeting, which makes Watabaruku quite unique in the Toastmaster experience. In Watabaruku, most of the efforts goes into evaluations. And herein, I would like to call the first content evaluator for our first speaker, Robert Karanja, Toastmaster Antony Oduor. Kindly take up the virtual stage and give us your evaluation of Toastmaster Roberts.
Robert Karanja, you ended your speech with a powerful statement. Leadership is mostly the art of doing simple things very well. I think this quote perfectly captured the objective of your speech. What you excelled in was your choice of topic. You choose to speak about the simple practical things that make leadership effective. This was particularly appropriate because you are sharing from your own experience as the immediate past president of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters. Your example, your executive meetings, your succession planning, appreciating members and guests, and creating fun experience showed what leadership look like in practice. You also did well in making the topic relatable. Rather than presenting leadership as something complicated, you demonstrated that small, consistent action can have a significant impact. What I would like you to work on is bringing even more of your personal leadership experience into the speech. Since the objective was to share a aspect of your experience as a volunteer leader, one or two specific stories from your time as a president would have made the message even stronger. My challenge is to take one of the leadership lessons and tell us a full story, what challenges you faced and what action you took and what you learned from it. Overall, I believe you did a very good job. You selected a topic that clearly supported the objective and delivered a practical leadership message that kept us engaged. You reminded us of something effective leadership is simply about doing simple things and doing them very well. Well done, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Antony. We move on to Toastmaster Ali Makori, who will give us his evaluation of the delivery of Toastmaster Robert Karanja. Toastmaster Ali, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you indeed, and it gives me tremendous pleasure to evaluate my friend, former President Robert Karanja, DTM. You opened with a compelling illustration. The man guided by love, GPT, or is it Cupid? GPT, the hook was immediate. And onto your vocal delivery. You spoke clearly, and that is one of your hallmarks. You've done well there. However, the voice carried a monotone for much of the first half. Relaxation did arrive later, but the lack of tonal shift early could not be missed. Your body speaks, Robert. Your eye contact held very well. To me, though, it appears that you had continuous gestures, almost mechanical, I would say. This may have diluted the impact of your gestures, and the impact of gestures is the propulsion we give to the spoken word. And they land best when punctuated, so that purposeful gestures escort the impactful segments of our sentences or of our speech. Finally, the conclusion arrived suddenly to me, and audiences generally in our delivery expect some signal that we are approaching the end. A touch of humor could have helped a little, leaving us with reflection that is mingled with the smile and satisfaction. I would wish to say, Robert, that as a DTM, and I say this to all DTMs and other seasoned Toastmasters, your presence commands respect. But that credibility alone does not challenge us sufficiently. Therefore, use mentorship, rehearse very well, write for the ear, those triads, what happened to them? Choice words, because speakers that are seasoned like you trailblaze by modeling excellence. It is easy to get comfortable. So push yourself, relax your voice earlier, sharpen your gestures, craft endings that rise and create anticipation, add a little bit of humor, and we will continue to learn from you, Robert, because you're a trailblazer, and DTMs inspire through delivery as much as through content. Over to the super grammarian, Wangu Kamundia.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you, Ali, for that report. And congratulations. I'm also glad to evaluate my friend DTM Robert Karanja. It's that simple. I loved the title of your speech, and I felt that it aligned well language-wise to what you were going to deliver. I felt, Robert, that you had a lot of pause fillers and crutches. I counted 3 repeated words. I counted 9 R's. And I would also like to encourage you to be wary of the word so. I felt that you used it as a crutch. So wariness of the word so. As a crutch, I felt in many instances it could have it didn't add much value to the sentence structure. Love GPT was very catchy for me. And I loved also the fact that you said, I didn't have this epiphany at the beginning of my term. That was very memorable for me. Well done. I would have ghosted the club. I found that a very interesting word to use because ghosted is new language, but recently I have been coming to learn that the English language is fluid. So where before we would have said ghosted is not a word acceptable in the English language, I think you used it very well and it was well understood. So congratulations on that. I think you said rather than give it off to an AI, because an AI is not a person, I felt it would have been better to say to delegate the task to an AI agent. The core would not be missed. You used the word be. I think you would have said we would have missed the core of the message, or the core of the message would disappear or not be clear. I'm also struggling here. I think you also said might not be or might be. And in that case, I believe there were many opportunities to restructure that sentence so that it was clearer, and the word might not be would not have been there. I think what I think is that might be or might not be dampens or dilutes the message you're trying to carry across. So I would have done away with it completely. I felt that your language was easy to understand. It was clear for the audience, and I commend you on that. I enjoyed your delivery language-wise, and I look forward to hearing you again. Thank you, and over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali and Toastmaster Wangu DTM, for those insightful feedback.
If I were a guest, I would wonder what sort of friends are Wangu and Traicy, because they started with Robert Karanja is our friend, and you would think, what an amazing speech. I've never had such a beautiful speech. But in Toastmasters, true friendship is true feedback. Thank you very much for that. We move on to our second tag team of evaluators. We start with Toastmaster Paul Muwanga, who was evaluating Toastmaster Laiser. Toastmaster Paul, the stage is yours.
Start today. That was the message from Toastmaster Laiser, telling us that we are all legends and can make a difference in people's lives. Toastmaster Lacey engaged us by asking us to unmute and make that statement out loud to make us feel that we are actually who we say we are, and also continued by asking us to type in the chat our responses to the person he wanted us to guess or mention. The message was very clear to me, asking us that we have the capacity to develop initiatives, taking on the footsteps of Ralph Smedley by starting small, starting alone, and starting today. The thing that kept me wondering is that this is a social speech. I would have expected that motivation to ask everyone to find that something that they can start. Because in a social speech, you are having an audience that is not homogeneous. Everybody will have their own thinking and their own aspirations. I would have loved you to twist it and say, find that something that you can also start and then make a change in people's lives. The second thing was the how. What is that step we should take? Because you ended by saying start today. The question is start what and how? What is that first step that I can take to make me feel that need to take that step, or the confidence to take that step? And maybe the other thing is, it was just a matter of informing us what other people had done. The question also becomes, what is the result of that transformation? What was the result? And what could you also achieve? How would you transform people? That feeling would compel us to take that action that you want us to take, because of the outcome that is possible by taking the action. Overall, I liked your message. It is a good social speech, very relatable, talking about something that we all need to do. Most of the time we transform others unknowingly. It would be much better if we could do it deliberately. If you could only take into account that the audience would not be homogeneous in a social speech, and also talking about the how by specifying some specific action that somebody could take. That would make your speech even more relatable and cause the call to action. I now hand over to the delivery evaluator, Toastmaster Traicy. Thank you.
3 things stood out for me. Number 3, you had very good rhetoricals, up to the point where you had the audience engage with you, which is really good. 2,
You had very good visuals. You were able to see your entire torso, your expressions, and even your gestures. 1, very good use of the triad, and I really enjoyed your numerics. The legend recognized that first, they needed this. Secondly, communication. Third, leadership. The second thing, the 2 things I may want you to work on would be, first of all, as the content evaluator has said, matching whatever you're saying with action. At some point, I saw you, as you're saying, he had 8 billion prospects. You moved over to the screen. However, and as you're moving, you raised your hand. I was hoping to see you hold up 8 digits, either at the point of 8 prospects or 80 million, or even at the point where you are asking us, we may not have 80 million people, but at least we have 10 that we can impact. The second is akin to this, matching your tonal inflections and variation to create impact with what you're saying. He had 8 billion prospects. And out of the 8 billion, he needed 80 to impact 80 million. 1, the last one, start small. Just as you said, planting a seed, you can implement one of these changes in order for you to make your speech to take your speech to the utmost legendary level. So 3 things. 3, very good use of rhetorics, very good visuals, and very good use of the triad. 2, match your gestures to your vocal intonation, inflection, employ pauses and inflections for great impact and emphasis. And 1, start small. Whenever you say, this is the height that people need to get to become legendary, let us see it. Show us with your face. Implement just one of these things, and I'm sure your speech will be able to reach that legendary level. From one friend to another, over to you, language evaluator Wangu.
Thank you, Traicy. And nice to meet you, Laiser. The last time I heard you anywhere, you were playing music at a conference. I don't remember which conference it was, but it's nice to hear you speak finally. Congratulations on delivering a speech on an exemplary legend. I loved the title, and I think it was fitting for the legend that you are celebrating, Ralph Smedley. You began very well, but really closely after that, you said every single one of you. I felt that there was a lot of, I felt like it was a tautology. It's excessive. So I would have had each of you or every one of you, and single, it tends to find its way into that description, but I feel like it can be removed. We can erase it from the delivery. A flock, I loved your use of a flock of possible followers when you spoke about the opportunity that Ralph Smedley had. And you said they won't be able to reach their peak. So I caught the word be there. They would have fallen short of their potential, perhaps would have been a way to circumnavigate that. You talked about has managed to, he has managed to reach, he has managed. And I felt that based on the fact that you were celebrating a legend, it was more than just managing to, he accomplished greatly. So that I felt that using has managed to took away from that impact. It would have been better to say he has impacted or he has transformed to give the power to the legend that you are celebrating. Now, stay with me for a moment. This sentence, I find it very common now, but I think that as Toastmasters, we shouldn't use it because we should have compelling enough speeches not to ask people to stay with us for a moment. So consider erasing that from your speeches, especially in the Toastmasters deliveries. Ridiculous numbers, I think, would have been better to have as mind-boggling numbers. And you talked about it is not overnight work. I loved that. This success is not overnight work, so we should keep trying, we should keep staying, we should keep pushing. Finally, you said, I would encourage you to start today. I think it was a great way to end your speech, but consider saying start today without it. I would encourage you to. It's more powerful, and I feel that it would have been a great compliment to the closure of your speech. Well done for an exemplary speech, and I enjoyed listening to you. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much to the tag team of legends who reviewed our legend, Larson. We can now proceed to vote for the best evaluator. Let's take a minute for that. We'll be back at 8:21. Right, and we are back. We move on to the next session of this wonderful meeting as we contemplate what the seasons mean to us. This session is about getting reports. Only when we have the reports for how something has gone can we plan on how to move on, for how to move forward and be the Toastmasters that we seek to be. I'd like to call again to the stage our super grammarian, Wangu Kamundia DTM, for her reports.
Thank you very much, Modi. I'll start by saying that I had my work cut out for me. I don't think I got all the B's. But I feel that we did well because there would have been many more than there were. TMOD, you said, be the Toastmasters we want to be. And the reason you get away with it is because you used Shakespeare. You paraphrased Shakespeare and said to exist or not to exist. I think most of our role takers had the word be somewhere. I'd like to commend Maggie and Paddy and Antony for not using the word be. If I have time, I will come back to how many times it was used, but I will give a more concise report in the group later on. Disfluencies, ahs and arms and repeated words. I counted in addition to the ones by the speakers, I had 16. So 16 plus about 15 from the speakers. That brings us to 31. For an advanced Toastmasters meeting, I think that is atrocious, and I hope we will work on it. I loved the use of language tonight. To exist or not to exist. Pleasant, running in with him. Interesting, insightful, and intriguing by our TMOD. Courage and trust to tackle table topics after the table topics master had mentioned that she's learning courage and trust. Our table topics master said, as opposed to prepared speeches, which I thought was a great contrast to the session she was introducing. I'm so glad I'm not speaking today. That was from the table topics master, and I thought it was quite hilarious. Paddy, you had a very compelling array of sentences. Well done for doing it in a table topic. I cried a bucket of tears from our table topics master, A Breeze by the Beach by one of our table topic speakers, Lillian. I had graduated and had a great time. I thought it was a great way to use the word had. And our table topics master also said multiple sequels. We had compelling illustration by Alligator and punctuated for purpose regarding tonal variation. Trailblaze, I learned today it is a verb, so to trailblaze is acceptable. I was going to say that it was not, so thank you for that, Ali. Paul Muwanga, the audience is not homogeneous. I loved that. The feeling would compel us to do or to start today and to transform unknowingly rather than deliberately, which is what you are encouraging the speaker to remind us to transform with deliberation. Improper use of language. Let go what no longer needs his attention, I think should have been let go of. There's one that I kept catching. He will deliver the evaluation of TM Robert. Or he will deliver to deliver the evaluation of someone. I think it should be the evaluation of TM Robert's speech, because we're evaluating the speech. Very good, very good, very good. I think it could have been great, excellent, superb, fantastic. There's something I feel that we do in Toastmasters, and perhaps it's to soften the blows. We say, I may want you, I might want you. I think it's better to just go for the jugular. I'd like you to, I'd love for you to. It is more impactful and memorable. I see my time is up. Well done on a great meeting, and I look forward to joining you again. Thank you, and over to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster DTM Wangu Kamundia, for that incisive, decisive, and in-depth evaluation. Thank you very, very much. I've done the thing again. Thank you absolutely for that. I would like to call to the stage our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Njeri Mwathi, to give us her evaluation for how the meeting has gone today. The stage is yours, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, our Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I have been very excited to be part of this meeting. I'm so glad I'm coming after the grammarian. I'm afraid for the B's that are in my general evaluation speech. I promise that this is an extremely objective evaluation based solely on the fact that this is my first ever meeting at Watabaruku. How was the preparation? Excellent. I will say the excellence that is part of this club meets every member who joins as early as registration. The touch of excellence coming through in relation to the headers that are on the Zoom meeting, the email that is received, the joining of the role takers group, the participation and engagement there in preparation for the meeting. So big up and kudos to the Vice President Education and the entire team at Watabaruku for all of the prep work that has gone into it. I thought it was a special touch to have posters for all of the role takers. Obviously, just encourages all of us to share this information out and drum up support and for attendance of the meeting. I also especially loved that there was a note for us to respond and participate in the role takers training and to I think it was to click onto the role takers links on the basis that this was not a typical Toastmasters meeting, and therefore it was important for us. Now, what would I also point for us to improve? It would be that we have better engagement on the chat and in the group ahead of the meeting. I noted that the response to the theme questions was coming in quite late, despite a prompt and a reminder from the BPE. So perhaps our engagement on the group there is one of the ways that we can encourage and whet all of our appetites ahead of the meeting. Now, pre-meeting, Thank you to our SAA. She had an incredibly lovely and warm smile. She was the first face for many of us as we were coming into the meeting room. So thank you, Catherine, for your introduction, for the setup, for the engagement with the visiting Toastmasters and the guests ahead of the meeting. Thank you also to our chat master. After we have transitioned into the meeting, a lot of the reminders and the prompts moved from the planning group to the chat room. And it was incredible to see your engagement of the meeting and your reminders of our compliance as role takers and functionaries in that session. For the openings business section of the meeting, big up to the presiding officer. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Fatma. You welcomed us, started the meeting right on time, and adopted the minutes. It was also incredible to see your recognition of the visiting Toastmasters and guests. I noted it was at this point of the meeting that you donated a good chunk of your minutes to the rest of the meeting. So we should be crediting you for being on time for a good chunk of this meeting. Thank you to our Toastmaster of the day, Leila Abdi. Very apt with the theme, and I especially loved how thoughtful and extemporaneous you were with the responses as you were introducing all of the functionaries and preparing us with the theme of the day. I especially loved the throwback to the days of our lives. As someone who used to consume that illegally, it was not permitted in our house, but somehow we did. The transitions were also very clear and smooth. And you managed the meeting well enough, introducing the aspects of Watabaruku that were separate and distinct from a typical Toastmasters meeting. Thank you to the two speakers this evening. I would say without a doubt that your presentation of the speeches is proof of concept for the club. The fact that we have witnessed and seen advanced speakers and advanced speeches is just to show that what Watabaruku is aiming for in terms of propelling seasoned speakers to another level is evident in the way you presented. My thoughts that perhaps may have been missed by some of the evaluators are in relation to the presentation of your speeches. For the first speaker, DTM Robert, I noted that you had two screens. Now, it's not immediately obvious. Perhaps it is actually the default for very many of us that on a Zoom setup, we have the side by side. And so we will see both your presentation and you as a speaker. So we see, based on how you set up your Zoom, we see you both times. So perhaps if you opt to do this again, you can let your content evaluator give us the advice as your audience to set up on the standard setting, I believe, which allows us to then focus exclusively on your presentation that now allows us to see both yourself and the presentation of your speech. I also love that you're using a clicker, which means that you are in position throughout. Thank you so much, Laiser. For me, my pointer would be that if you're using then a virtual background, there's quite a bit of, and you have quite a bit of movement, unlike all of the rest of us, the audience and the functionaries, there's quite a disturbance because of the virtual background. I would encourage that you have just a minimal background. That helps us to then focus a lot more on your presentation. I loved the table topics session. Thank you very much to our table topics master. Thank you for setting out why it is important for us to be practicing our impromptu speeches. The questions were very thoughtful, and I liked how you seamlessly transitioned us from one speaker to your experience onto the next question and the next speaker. A big up and kudos to our volunteer table topic speaker this evening. IPP of Simba Toastmasters, congratulations for taking up and leading us in this way. Thank you to all the other table topic speakers. Just a note that it would always, always be lovely to see you. So please click on your videos as you present your table topic speeches. Those speeches, though, were extremely well delivered for being impromptu speeches. To the speech evaluations, thank you to all of the content delivery thank you to all of the evaluations that were presented, extremely well presented, very insightful, very thorough. Now I see why Watabaruku offers 3 levels of delivery. Imagine the growth that comes with that depth of evaluation. Just a note for us as the audience, we had just a minute to present our feedback with the pop-up that came on screen. But 1 minute for very enthused and wordy audience such as ourselves, myself included, 1 minute is very, very short. So perhaps to the TMOD at the next time, give us a heads up when you just have about, say, 20 seconds or 10 seconds to the end of the minute so that we hit full stop and the entire feedback is not completely lost because we were busy typing out all of our thoughts and ideas on the pop-up. Thank you to all of the participants. You are extremely engaging on the chat and with the reactions, which has made this an incredibly lively session because you are here, because you are present, and because you are also very compliant to all of the meeting requirements and guidelines. Thank you. I would say, Watabaruku, excellent, excellent, excellent. You are well on the path of excellence, and we hope to continue to see that and even extend it to all other clubs, and to say improve on engagement so that we can drive a lot more people to witness what is happening here. Thank you very much. Back to you, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Njeri Mwathi. Round of applause. She also happens to be president of SEMA Toastmasters Club. Excellence is the note you have left us on. I believe personally as a philosophy that there are no coincidences in life. And today, I kid you not, as I was coming to the place where I am holding this meeting, I saw a matatu with a graffiti seasoned. Toastmasters, I am not making that up. It really happened. And that's what I want us to live with. Every single season has a reason. Every single season has a reason. And whenever we are in the winter storms, things are not moving, doors are not opening, we just need to realize that this is temporary and this too shall pass. And if we find somebody who is in a season of their life where things are not going for them as they should, let us be there for them. Let us be the reminder that they need to know that this is life. Seasons happen for a reason, and this too shall pass. Thank you very much for sharing with us your insights on every season that you're in. I have noted them down. I'd like to share with you my Toastmaster book. So you are very famous. If my grandkids come to this planet and they get this box, your thoughts will be shared with them as well. I would like to appreciate all of you. It has been an honor to be your Toastmaster of the day. I hand it back to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Fatma Amiyo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. Let's unmute and appreciate our Toastmaster Leila. If you can unmute, let's go ahead and clap for Leila. Thank you very much for that thought-provoking theme. You have reminded us about seasons, for us to appreciate different seasons in our life, for us to be very intentional, because clearly there are those of us who expressed they are celebrating anniversaries, birthdays. There are those who are in transition. There are those who are reflecting. There are those who are active. So thank you very much for that powerful reminder. At this juncture, I would like to invite our Sergeant at Arms to tell us, what did the polls say? Please present the poll results. Our Sergeant at Arms, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, for the chance to present the poll results. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we have now come to one of the exciting moments of our meeting, recognizing some of today's outstanding performances. Thank you to everyone who participated, and thank you to all who cast their votes. Let's begin with our best table topic speaker. Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes.
Great. This award recognizes the person who demonstrated the ability to think on their feet, organize their thoughts quickly, and deliver an engaging impromptu response. And the best table topic speaker is, drum rolls, Abdi Adala. Congratulations. Next, we have the award for best evaluator. Evaluations are such an important part of Toastmasters because they help us grow through constructive, specific, and encouraging feedback. And today's best evaluator is Wangu Kamundia DTM. Congratulations. And finally, we come to the award for best prepared speaker. This recognizes the speaker whose prepared speech stood out to members through their message, delivery, structure, and overall impact. And the best prepared speaker for today is Robert Karanja, DTM. A big congratulations to all our winners. And of course, congratulations to every speaker, evaluator, and table topics participant who stepped forward today. Every time we take the floor, we're practicing, learning, and becoming stronger communicators. Please join me once again in giving all our winners a big round of applause. Back to you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the speakers and those who have voted as better speaker, evaluator, and table topic speaker. At this juncture, I would kindly request for those of us who are able to turn on our video. If you're able to turn on your video, I kindly request that we turn on our video so that we can make memories. We can take a photo so that we remember that on 14th August, we dedicated a Friday evening to come and listen to deep stories, reflective memories, having opportunities of thank you. I can see the videos are coming on. I see you, Makori. I see you. Sega, you still with us? Liaison, our TMOD. Rashmi. So I want to see the best smiles that you have. Our president is not in, but I will try to also capture the crazy ones. Thank you. Our chat master is also here. So I want one where we are smiling and we are nice and easy. Oh, I see. Traicy, I see what you're doing there. Then if you could have one where we are a little bit cheeky. I don't know what your cheeky, a cheeky one, or Catherine is saying, now this is also a political statement in Kenya, so I have to be very. Gee, I see you. So a cheeky one. Thank you. Thank you very much. We will definitely share these memories. So before Sega leaves, I know Sega has typed on the chat so that she can quickly dash. I would like to invite those of us who have joined, perhaps for the first time, so that you can tell us, how did you find our meetings? Our online experience, that's how we refer to our meeting at Watabaruku. Sega has just stepped out. Laiser, are you still here? I know I reached out to you at the last minute.
Hi, Madam Presiding Officer. So I just switched devices. I might be able to have my video on, but I had an amazing time. The meeting was really spectacular. The evaluators were really tight on the key areas of development, as well as the grammatical improve that was shared by our super grammarian. So the meeting was really lovely, and looking forward to partake in future meetings. But I also welcome you all to join us at Mount Meru. We meet every second and fourth Saturday of the month from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. You can tell
Thank
us
you,
when
Madam.
the next meeting is so that it's Friday evening. We don't want to be figuring out. So do you have a meeting tomorrow?
Surely.
Paddy, congratulations for coming in and grabbing best table topic speaker. Simba Moja, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was an absolute delight. That is what we do at Simba. We visit other clubs, we pick their banners, pick their awards, and we enjoy the experience. It's been a lovely experience here at Watabaruku. Truly an experience, not just a club meeting. Therefore, I will spread the gospel of your amazing nature to the rest of my club members and encourage them to indulge in this Watabaruku experience. It was an absolute delight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paddy. Take our regards to Simba, and perhaps you could also remind those of us who are still on the call. I know you meet on Saturdays.
Yes, we
but feel
meet
free
on
to
the
tell us.
second and the fourth Saturday of every month. Our next meeting will be on the 21st of this month. We meet from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and we serve a delightful brunch after the meeting. Therefore, come one, come all to Simba Toastmasters.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Frederick, are you still here? We haven't heard your voice, Frederick. As Frederick, okay. Frederick, you could type on the chat if you can hear us. Lorraine, President Fasaha, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. My name is Lorraine Wangari, President of Fasaha Bilingual Toastmasters, and it was a pleasure to join you in your online experience, as you call it. At Fasaha, we meet every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, and our next meeting will be on the 26th of August from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You're most welcome.
Thank you. I will be there. Madam GE, President Sama.
Hi, everyone. I was very excited. I think if you can't tell, I have learned so much. I have appreciated, I've seen the value of running an online experience, even the brand, even the reframing, guys. Clock it, clock it. So thank you. I know that some of my members are here. So I will take this time to remind us all that Sema is turning 18 this year. So in September, we are going to be gathering to celebrate 18 years of Sema Toastmasters Club. And of course, you're welcome, or everyone is welcome. Please come and join us and listen to what it has been like to hit the 18-year mark. We meet every first and third Wednesday of the month, and physically on the third Wednesday. So we have a meeting next Wednesday at PCA St. Andrews, Lecture Hall 3. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. We for sure will be there to celebrate this 18-year-old. Well done. SG, how was your experience multitasking? Sorry, I had zoned out briefly. I think it was a very big challenge, to be honest, but I loved it. I think listening to grammar, listening to us, and then delivering evaluations, it's a big challenge. It really, really grew me to be here today. I've also been a member of a Swahili-speaking Toastmasters club for the last 6 years, so it was good to deliver a grammarian's report in English. And I loved the grammar in this meeting. I loved the use of language. I especially loved the GE's report. I wasn't able to give her my feedback, but I thought that it was very well put together. So please receive your flowers, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you, Fatma, for coming for inviting me today and having me. Watabaruku has been so supportive of Fasaha that I thought it would be great to come and join you and see why you finished select distinguished only because you didn't have 20 members. I think you are a Smedley distinguished club, and it was lovely to be here. I look forward to joining you again. Over to you, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for accepting the invitation. Antony, so we listen to Antony, and then we can officially close our meeting. Antony, how was your experience as a content evaluator today?
Hello, Fatma.
Hi, Antony. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, for me, the experience was fantastic. I'm a new member. I think it's like the start of the process, but learning and getting I believe time better. Thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations on acing the role. Maggie, before you leave, you ought to say something. Maggie, are you still here? Okay, I see you had already said your goodbyes. So before I close the meeting officially, I'd like to invite you to our next meeting, which will be on 28th August, same time. We have a few open roles. Feel free if there is someone specific that you think would grow from this role. I'd like to officially close the meeting. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Meeting 141 is officially adjourned.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Catherine, really appreciate. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Frederick, you could hear us all this while, and you were not saying something.
He's waiting for everyone to leave, or he's not there.
Okay. Oh, he's listening in.
Either
Okay.
or.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Frederick, you
chatting.
can hear us. Frederick, you can hear us.
He's unable to speak.
Are you already a member of Toastmasters, Frederick? Okay. It's your first time.
Wow. Welcome. Welcome, Frederick. And join us next time.
We'll be meeting on 28th. Please join us. I could drop my number on the chat. That way we'll be able to engage. Feel free to reach out so that we ensure that we don't leave you out. We'll share the poster with you. So just drop a chat or a text. I'll be able to carry on with the engagement. Thank you and have a lovely evening. Catherine, over to you. I hope you stopped recording.
Oh my gosh. Right now, let me tell you,